everyone, and welcome to another edition of Starting 11 here on the Let's Get Ready Network. I'm Adelia, that's my buddy Snark, and we're here to talk about the insane amount of matches that occurred in the past week in the English Premier League. Snark, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. 19. No, no, 19. I don't know if anybody remembers that song. Classic 80s song. But 19 matches in a week. There's only 20 teams.
That
So
was a
everybody,
lot of matches.
lots of teams pulling double duty. I'm glad that a certain team did not have to play twice, so I did not have to go through that twice.
So
It's
am
bad
I.
enough. Yeah, it's bad enough they're playing tomorrow. But yeah, but that's not to say there wasn't some pretty fun results this weekend and
Mhm.
throughout the week as well. And yeah, maybe not the best team for or the best week for all of North London. It seems it was yeah, it was an eventful week in the Premiership.
Yes. Yes,
All
it
right,
was.
but we got so much. There's so much,
Yeah.
guys.
So
This
let's go
show is
back
only supposed to
to.
be it's only supposed to be 20 minutes long. I'm just kidding. It could be longer than that. But yeah, this is it's a plus size edition of Starting 11 for the same amount of money we're giving to you guys for the same amount. That's how generous we are.
Absolutely. Let's go
Hmm.
back to last Tuesday and
I know.
talk about the three matches that occurred on that day, which might have been some of the lowest scoring matches of the weekend.
It was. It seems like it was a month ago. Like, yeah,
It does.
I'm glad I took some notes and stuff like that because for me to honestly remember, oh yeah, Wolves beat Palace on what was it, Tuesday, two
Tuesday.
nil. I would say, oh okay. Uh, let's see. What did I say? Oh, the Wolves got off to a great start. It's Joaquim Anderson had a crap clearance. What do you know? Crystal Palace not great defensively. Went off his team's own crossbar and in, and then no other goals scored until Ruben Neves, who had an eventful week, uh, gets the second one. Um, and I'm going to say this about Wolves: Jose Sa was pretty good in this match. He deserved the clean sheet. But Wolves did play another match. We
Yes.
can talk, and we can talk about that when we get there. Wolves needed points. Uh, they got them here. They should be fine. I think they're at that spot. They're like Chelsea. Like they're at a spot now where I think they're assured to go up. They can't do much else to go down. They were saying that the artificial line should be somewhere around 40 points, and Chelsea now at
Let's see.
39.
Yeah, Wolves
Uh,
currently in 14th with 37.
yeah, they're right there. Um, that artificial line can, of course, move up and down. It depends on what the bottom three, or really five right now, do. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're going to, yeah, like Chelsea. I keep looking at the thing. It's like I don't know where they're getting points, but we'll talk about that bunch when we get to it. Let's go to the next match because if we don't keep moving along, we're here for a month. Villa beat Fulham this week 1-0, which was pretty important for them considering what happened this weekend. Is Tyrone Mings getting his first of the season? He gets a header to go in. Fulham does not look like the same club without Mitrovic. They look
No, they do
like
not.
a shadow of themselves. Quite
Yeah.
bad. Um, and what's the name of the kid that gives? Is it Vinicius that plays behind him and stuff? Like, and he doesn't look
Yeah.
bad. It's just that they just, yeah, they're not the same team without that guy. Goes to show, keep your temper in check. Like God,
Don't put
we're gonna
your
talk
hands
about
on their
another.
mouth.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about another guy again. It's like we're talking about this every week. There's somebody who's going to be an asshole in the Premier League. It's like,
Hmm.
don't mess with the rest. Yeah, they're crap. Everybody knows they're crap. Don't take your shit out on them. Go get
Yeah.
a one of those boxing dummies or something like that and smack that around after the game if you need to blow some steam off because this is ridiculous. Leeds and Leicester played, and Leicester has to be pretty upset with itself, only managing a one-all draw, even though it was on the road. Leicester, who's looked better, they've looked better, but
Yeah, they have.
yeah, um, just yeah, two results this week for Leicester that they need to get a win, but they're managing. You know, their goal differential is right now is what's keeping them out of being relegated. Their goal differential is quite good. So when it comes to all
Goal
these bottom teams,
differential minus 13
yeah, look at the teams behind them though. I
compared
think
to
they're
the
at like
teams
minus
below them.
yeah minus
Leeds with
thirties and
minus
stuff.
24, Nottingham minus 32, Everton
Yeah.
minus 25, and Southampton minus 32.
Yeah, Southampton's done. That is the guarantee. Southampton
Yeah.
will not progress. They will be relegated. The difference is the bunch now with Forest and everybody. But we're going to talk about them as well in a little bit. Uh, Liverpool played its first of the week against West Ham, and where was this Liverpool at the beginning of the year? Now they're getting
Who knows?
results. I can tell you, it's Diogo Jota for the last month has been incredible and has been their best player,
Yeah.
and he seems to really have spurred on Liverpool. Uh, and getting now they're getting goals from everywhere. Like Joel Matip scores for them, so whatever. Guys, this is the question everyone's asked. Does David Moyes still have a job? Yes,
Yes.
David Moyes still has a job. Someone else Someone else may not by the time this show even airs tomorrow, but we will see. Now, what I was kind of running towards, unfortunately, is that Chelsea was at home being host to Brentford, our West London neighbor, Brentford Bees. And we were, if, if nothing else, a hospitable host to Brentford because we were terrible. Once again, we were terrible. Uh, Frankie Lampard, again, one of my, if not my favorite player of all time, in the top three of my favorite players of all time. Not my favorite manager of all time.
I
Uh,
wouldn't think
er,
so.
no, not great. He's not great. Now dropped every match he's been in charge for in the second spell as Chelsea manager. They have recorded a grand total of one Conor Gallagher goal that went on off a deflection. That's it. They can't score. They're not winning. Their lineups are getting stranger and stranger. Uh, Aubameyang plays a whole bunch, and he actually has some shots. I don't know if you actually watched the game or not. Aubameyang, it looks like he's passing the ball to the goaltender. He get like was this was never a problem with Arsenal, right?
I mean, he had his moments, but he was
Yeah,
never as inept as he looks now.
yeah, that was ridiculous. It almost looked like he's trolling the team. Like he gets this into great position to shoot and just nudges the ball towards that. I couldn't believe it. Chelsea has yeah no answers for anything. It's been a terrible, terrible season, and it looks like those first few weeks, even though they weren't great, like they did not look like they were some magical team under Tuchel. And there's a reason why Tuchel got fired. They did not look good. Uh, but yeah, nothing has worked for this group. Nothing. The culling that's going to come this summer is going to be impressive, but you're going to be getting rid of like I don't see how guys like Mason Mount stick around and no Champions League football. And we're supposed to be bringing in all these. Everybody says Chelsea's going to be bringing in players. Bringing them in to do what? Play once a
Yeah.
week, except for the FA Cup or whatever. God, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't understand. Yeah, Dave come back in this game as as Piliqueta comes back. The captain comes back, and like first thing he does is direct a corner in off his chest into his own net. It's like what did he? What? I don't see the point of having to bring him back for these last few games. Yes, I get it. Reece James was hurt. Reece James isn't going to play the rest of the year. Put somebody else in. Like
Yeah.
Dave is not the future of this club. Like he's gone. Like his contract's up. He already wanted to go back to Spain to do whatever. Why is he playing? Uh, it gets yeah. It's a little frustrating. And Buemo scores the other one. Uh, yeah. At least we let Ivan Tony get off the score sheet for this game, and I bet you didn't see that coming. Come on,
No.
Ivan Tony, gambling. Just saying, Ivan Tony. Anyways, I have to find the
Yeah.
humor where I can because it's been miserable. Um, and then we got a match. We got a match tomorrow uh,
Yep.
against your Arsenal Gooners, um, where again we should get our heads kicked in. This is yeah, but I'm gonna say like we'll talk about your team when we get to them. But is this the time to go up against an Arsenal squad? We'll see. Probably not. Can't score, so what are we gonna do? Uh, Forest beat Brighton. Big. It was an important win for Brighton at the time. It got them out of relegation at the time. And this is the match I remember when doing our predictions. I kept going over and over, and I was kept surprising myself. Like Forest can't beat Brighton at home, can they? Well, it turns out they could. Monate gets on the board um, for Brighton. Like, where's everybody else? But Pascal, Morgan Gribbs White scored. Yeah, it was good. They played well. They play well at home. They play well at home, and they score off a break. That's it. And they managed to do it against Brighton, who is playing for them. What are they? Just to be top 10 spot for Brighton is pretty incredible, and considering they went through a managerial change too this year, because some
Yeah.
jerk stole their manager for a few months for whatever friggin' reason that was. But we've come to a match where I think you may have had a more vested interest than anything else.
Oh boy.
A match that was considered match of the year, at
It
least
was
in the build
considered the
up.
title decider.
Yeah,
It
at
was
least in
considered
the
the
build
title
up.
decider.
This was a match of the year. Uh, the City was better. They just beat Arsenal 4-1. They were
Yeah,
just better.
City was better. I don't think we were god awful. We weren't at our best, that's for sure. But I don't think we were god awful.
No, I think he had a
City
much better
was
second
just
half.
spectacular, and what can you do? I mean, like I feel like there's very little that Arsenal can do up against a team like City sometimes. I felt that way for many seasons now. I thought maybe this season we'd have some better results, and we did.
He did.
In our first match against them this year, which was in the FA Cup, we had a much better performance than we had in either of the two league matches.
Hmm.
And yeah, it is what it is. I
Kevin
was
De
pretty
Bruyne was
upset on
really
the
good.
day.
Kevin De
Kevin De
Bruyne was
Bruyne
excellent.
was really good. I was pretty upset on the day, but then I just sort of we solidified that we're in the Champions League for next year. That's official now.
It's a big
That
deal.
was really at the beginning of this season. If you would have told me you've got Champions League football and you finish second to City, I would have taken that.
You
So
never know. You never know. There's still some weeks. We're at a point now where it looks like
yeah,
City should win the title again. Uh,
yes,
but you don't know. Weird things happen in this league. I would not like, especially you're down a point now. They have a game in hand as well. Still, uh,
yes. That
but
game in hand will not be played until the Wednesday right before the last weekend of the season.
yeah, could come down to it too. But uh,
Yeah.
again,
Their game in hand, I believe, is against Brighton. I mean, it's not
yeah,
an easy game.
I think they have Brighton and I believe Brentford their last two
I'm
matches
gonna
if
look
I
it up.
remember right.
I'm gonna look it up.
Um, let's talk about the game a little bit more. Okay, yeah, that De Bruyne goal was so good. It was class.
Yeah, Brighton and Brentford at Brighton, then at Brentford for their last two games
Right,
this
so
season.
two
Those are
on the
not
road,
easy.
and each of them, you know, are improved squads. Are they going to be playing for anything other than a top 10 finish? I don't
I
know if
mean,
like Brighton
I don't know.
Brighton still has a shot at getting Europa League football. They got two
Yeah,
games in hand. They're only down 4 to Liverpool, and you know how Liverpool is. Even though they've been much better as of late, they're so
yeah,
wishy-washy. They're so wishy-washy, and might be without their manager for the next game, but it really doesn't matter when you get on the pitch, anyways.
yeah.
Do you think that second goal? Do you think John Stones was onside?
No, I don't.
He
And
was onside.
there's no way he was
That was a
onside.
weird.
To the point, there was no way he was onside to the point that at halftime of that game, Rebecca Lowe at the NBC studio crew said there are reports that they got it wrong again and he was actually offside. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sick of this. I'm so sick of this. But
yeah.
there's
You
no
guys have
way
been
he was
targeted.
onside.
I think that Chelsea early in the year looked like they were being targeted, and it's like, oh, Chelsea just hasn't been playing well. Arsenal
Yeah.
has been playing well, and there's been some bananas calls against them. It's
Yeah.
been crazy.
There has been.
Uh,
Um I feel like we have the youngest average age squad in the Premier League.
hmm
There's room to grow from this season. If it's not
Oh yeah,
reaching the top of winning the league this year, they'll learn from it and they'll get
yeah,
better next year.
yep.
Anything can happen, of course, influx of new players and all of that into the league, not just into Arsenal and all of that. But I have hope for the future for the first time in a long time, even if I feel like this second half collapse is reminding me of the collapse at the end of last season when we didn't get Champions League football because we lost
Right.
to teams that we shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah.
William Saliba getting injured
Big deal.
really fucked us.
That's a big deal.
Because I think Rob Holding's a good squad guy. I think he's a good guy to have in the dressing room. I don't
Scored your goal.
want him
Scored your
starting.
goal.
He scored the goal.
Yeah.
I don't want him starting in the Premier League. I don't think anybody wants him starting in the Premier League. And you can't ask Jacob Kivior to come in and do that when he's played twice for the club since he joined in January.
Right.
So, and
Yeah, that Saliba injury is pretty unfortunate. You guys weren't in a position really to have anybody back him up and stuff like that, as you're seeing now. So it's defensively, it
yeah,
just doesn't look the same. Yeah,
I
and you
mean,
guys
I
weren't
think
terrific defensively, but you guys are good defensively. You have such a great goaltender.
yeah,
He covers
yeah.
up a lot of mistakes, but when
I saw
yeah,
so many
your best
people,
defender goes out.
saying that we can't win anything with Aaron Ramsdale in goal, and I was like, "What do you want us to still have Bernd Leno? Like he's so much better than we had before."
Yeah, he's been
Um,
really good. He's been really good. I'm still surprised, even though he had a great game today. I'm still surprised
yeah,
Jordan Pickford was the first starter, like the first choice starter for England at the World Cup. I'm still surprised. I
yeah.
thought it was Ramsdale's for sure.
Um, Arsenal this season is going to remain incredibly special to me, no matter what.
Sure.
I don't think we're gonna win. I've told you all season I'm not convinced we're gonna win.
No.
And we're not going to, most likely.
You
Anything could
have
still happen, but we most likely aren't going to.
you have 19 years of thinking back to this and saying like you've seen the pattern that goes on and stuff like that where you know how it's going to be going and stuff like that. You could feel out the team that the fact that they were up so high so early and stuff like that I think caught you a little off guard, but you always had Arsenal's in your head and it's still Arsenal, it's still Arsenal. But to
Yeah.
start off, like you said, they're the youngest squad in the Premier League, and they led the Premier League for well, with the World Cup, but
247
yeah,
days. We've led for
almost a whole year.
247 days this year, which is insane. I
Bananas.
never expected that this season, ever.
Yeah, through injuries, like big injuries. Saliba, Jesus was out for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Um,
We
and
lost
then
Thomas Partey for a little while, too. That was
Thomas
a big
Partey.
one.
Yeah, and you bring in Trossard. Now, it's his play that sets up the goal for Holding. I thought he played really well.
I think that we haven't looked the same since Gabriel Jesus came back and Trossard dropped to the bench.
I was gonna say it's a name that we haven't heard as much about, and you guys were absolutely rolling when he was starting for you guys. Like
Yeah.
like just his possession, the way he could play the ball, his speed. He wasn't scoring the goals, but he was sure making sure that they were being scored. Like
Yeah.
he can set up goals, and then yeah, bringing Jesus back just kind of it threw everything off again, and it's unfortunate. You shouldn't lose your
we
spot
had
to
a
an injury, but
momentum. Yeah, we had a momentum going.
yeah,
That I mean, yeah, we had the cardiac kids moments against Bournemouth and Villa, but we had a momentum going, and then Jesus came back and Saliba got injured, and it all happened right around that same period of time, and it just
yeah,
threw everything off.
yeah,
And
it's
that's because we don't
unfortunate.
have the depth. We don't have the depth, but I feel like that's something that they know they need to address
I was gonna say,
more
if
heavily
not,
in the
if
summer, and they'll
if
have more
nothing
money
else,
to address it now because we qualified for the Champions League.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, for sure. They know the areas they need to cover. They know that they're gonna have someone in behind Saliba who's ready to start a
Yeah,
Premier League match.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you do with Jesus? Like, my early pick to win the Golden Boot this year, of course, I was way off, but he had a really good
Yes.
he had really good preseason. Holland is going to win it by a country mile. Um,
Yeah.
what do you do with him? Do
I don't
you
know.
do you, can you
Jesus
sell? Like,
reminds
is
me
he a
of
sell?
I don't know. Jesus reminds me of Lacazette in the way that he's good at the link up play. He's good at helping out Martinelli and Saka, but he doesn't score.
You know,
That's a problem for your striker.
yeah.
And
Oh,
Martinelli,
I know that problem.
I think Martinelli is our leading goal scorer this year.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he and Saka and Odegaard, they got into a rhythm with one another and with Trossard after Jesus got injured. That, like I said, got thrown off when he came back. And
It's happened with Odegaard too, right? Like, I've noticed, like, there used to be, like, we used to talk about Odegaard quite a bit. I believe he was on the thumbnail for one of our shows as well. Like,
yeah,
Odegaard was doing great, and then all of a sudden you just don't hear his name.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
too bad.
it's a lot. Um, but I have hope for the future, which is more than I could say at this time last year, even though I kind of did. But I have uh, I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of the season. The season ends the day before my birthday. It'll be what it'll be, and I will uh, enjoy it.
Yeah, you never know. You have an
The goal
inkling.
has
You
been
can have an
achieved.
inkling, but yeah.
Yeah, the goal
Oh
has
yeah,
been
for sure.
achieved.
To get into Champions League qualification, it was 100%. You would think going into the season, you think of City just like here.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
the fact you held them off for so long is pretty impressive.
we held them off for so long. And I would also like to say, all of these people that are going on and just like getting on Arsenal for bottling it, like we've run them closer City than anybody has in years except for Liverpool.
Right.
So fuck off. Like
Ooh.
they have overachieved. Like don't tell me they're bottling it. Like City was always going to have this once everybody got healthy and Holland got his goal scoring groove back. They were always going to have this like push, and yes, we had some key injuries and fell behind in that regard, but I didn't ever feel this year, even though I picked them every time because I'm always going to pick my boys. I
Sure.
never felt like we were going to beat City. Not in the
No.
FA Cup, not in the league. I never felt like we were going to beat City because like it's just such a monumental thing. Like I felt like we could maybe beat Liverpool. We didn't at Anfield, but we beat them at home. Like there are milestones of teams that we haven't beaten in recent years that we've beaten this year, and City's just not one of them because they have spent an exorbitant amount of money on the best players in the world. Like it's hard to compete with that when your average age of your team is something like 24, 25.
And one of the best football minds of all time running their bench and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have these people like you guys are the next, the logical heirs to the throne. If and when Pep decides to go somewhere else, if he
Yeah.
follows through on what he was saying about ownership and stuff like that, I don't see him doing that because that has
I
been
don't
brushed
either.
under the rug. Uh, I do suspect that possibly Real Madrid or somebody is going to take a real swipe at Holland this year. It's going to cost an awful lot, but I believe he does have an exit amount in his contract, which is it's a bananas amount. But somebody
Yeah.
might just go for it. Who knows? Holland isn't there. Is there? You know, if Holland isn't there, they're a very good team, but they're mortal. With Holland there, they're just what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Holland scores that last goal. I just wanted to mention he did the Drogba slide with a salute, so I actually appreciated that. It's like, oh, I know that. I've seen that a
Yeah.
bunch of
Yeah.
times. Let's get to that last match for Saturday. And speaking of disappointments, goddamn United. They have a 2-0 lead on Tottenham, but decide to sit back in the second half
Oh, Man
and
United.
nurse it. And of course, Poro scores, and then Sun Heung Min, of course, as well. And Spurs temporarily hold off disaster uh, in North London. But god damn, like I was laughing. They were doing it again, losing 2-0. They look terrible in the first half. Something got to them in the second, but what was United thinking?
I
Like,
don't know.
why invite the pressure? It was the thing that would drive me nuts when Graham Potter was at Chelsea. He would have his team sit back and just take the pressure on us. It's like, no, no, go. Why stop what's working? I'll never
Yeah.
understand it. Never in a million years. God damn. Well,
Yeah.
if that's the yeah, if that's the only good news for Tottenham this week that we'll talk about, and one of my favorite things happened all year. We'll talk about it when we get to the Sunday games. But first, uh, we'll have our buddy Justin come in, talk to you about something that would help us out a lot, and that's joining our Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Justin, aka Hambone, just here to let you know a couple of things that we have going on with the channel. One, we have a Patreon. If you can and want to support us, you can do that. Little as $1. You can join the Discord. We also have a merch store where you can get some cool shirts, mugs, and stuff with all of our different shows and labels on there. And thank you for all of our supporters that have already been there with us.
Lots of tiers in that Patreon. Plenty for everybody. I think there's pretty good value in this. You can, if you're at a certain level, you can come on this show. You can tell me
Yeah.
what a dumb idiot I am for liking a certain football club that has consistently let me down this year.
Yeah.
But
And also subscribe to the channel. That would
oh
help
yeah,
us out too. We're trying to get to 1,000 so that we can do some fun things with the channel. So subscribe, and that would be helpful.
that way we can race other channels. I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
But not me. I'm gonna. I pulled up late, and I pulled up late. Let's get to the Saturday games and
Did we do all
Newcastle.
the Thursday games?
Yeah, that's it. City, United. We talked Forest and Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, West Ham,
Because
Liverpool.
Thursday also had Everton, Newcastle, and Southampton, Bournemouth.
Or am I talking about now? Oh, I have. Sorry, I'm way off. I'm like, I'm yeah. I put the note for Justin in the wrong spot. That's all.
Okay.
Great. All right, great. But yes, let's talk about Newcastle and Everton. Newcastle wins no problem. Uh,
Yeah.
Callum Wilson 2 goals. It's not the only time I'm going to say that this week. Joe Linton scores. Jacob Murphy. What was with that alternate kit for Newcastle? I
I
thought it
don't
was
know.
the Irish national team. I swear to God. I was like, what? Like I thought like there was something wrong. Like they were showing like an exhibition match. It was like, what is happening here? They didn't have
Yeah,
the
I don't
volume
know.
on yet.
Yeah.
Green and white, green shorts and white shirt. Like what?
Yeah. I don't know what that was, but they played well wearing it.
Yeah, well, Everton, the Toffees are
Was
just, gracious hosts.
They're
I
in
like to say
trouble.
gracious,
They're
yeah,
in
gracious
trouble.
hosts. We'll talk about the match. We'll talk about the match today, but uh, yeah, I'd like to see more of the match today for sure from those guys.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, there may be a lone Merseyside team come next year if they don't smarten up. Southampton, you know, or whatever. Bournemouth win 1-0. Uh, yeah, it wasn't a great goal. A weak shot by Trevernier. I think let's take a quick look. Let's see how Bournemouth's doing. Oh yeah, Bournemouth tied with friggin' Chelsea. Chelsea is now on par with Bournemouth. Sure, we're ahead on goal differential or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
unbelievable. This is what a year. What a year. Like, I went to go see these guys in July or whatever it was. No There was no way. There was no way I was thinking, even though they didn't play great against Club America, but they were okay. They looked fine. They weren't very exciting, but they looked fine. And to think that they're in 13th spot with Bournemouth, and like I said, I don't see where we get points. Like the only thing would
Yeah.
be Forest. Yeah, it's a ooh, what a year. Anyways, if we can get a draw from anybody, I'd be pretty excited. But it's gonna have to be a 0-0 draw because we can't score for shit. Terrible. Fun match. Palace and West Ham, and I believe this where Saturday starts. I
This
can't
was
remember anymore.
Saturday. Yeah, this
Yeah,
was Saturday.
and I said I wrote down in my notes in wrestling parlance, this was a slobber knocker. Uh, yeah, Suchek opening the scoring. Jordan Ayew ties it. Zaha will put Palace up. Jeffrey Lee strips Suchek of the ball, and that looked ridiculous. I don't know what he was thinking, and goes in alone, beats Fabianski. Antonio gets that one back. Eze gets the penalty call again. I just a little consistency on what constitutes a penalty in this league because he flops so easily, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh no, that's a penalty. It's like, how is that? How can you? And like, I don't know what VAR's job is to do. Like, the job is like, I
I
guess it's
don't
there
know.
to support the ref or whatever. But it's like, come on, when you can see it, when you look at that and you say that was terrible. There's barely contact, and he still goes to the ground. But whatever. Uh, anyways, penalty goes in, so they win 4-3. Important points for Crystal Palace.
Yep.
Uh, West Ham is whatever. Believe it or not, even after that, David Moyes still has a job, guys. David Moyes still managing in the Premier League.
It's got to be their Conference League, Europa Conference League thing that's kept him with a job. It's got to be.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
They're in like the
It's more.
semifinals of that
Yeah,
tournament.
it's more fun. Yeah, it's more fun nowadays just knowing that David Moyes is still managing in the Premier League than the job he's doing. Maybe that's why they're doing. Who knows?
Maybe.
The next match, I said, in wrestling parlance, was a squash match because Brighton beat the hell out of a Wolves team that didn't show up. Nobody.
No.
6-0. Like, everybody was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I like seeing Diego Costa like shit? Nope. You did. Everybody did. Everybody. Jose Sa, I just said he was like terrific in that win earlier in the week. Like shit. Everybody looked like shit. Brighton had no problems. Pascal Gross, who's had a pretty good week, he scores. Danny Welbeck, Veltman scores, and I think they all scored 2 goals. I was like, all right. Like, they didn't even need their big guys or whatever to score. So Danny
Yeah.
Welbeck's been having a great last month or two too for Brighton. He's really picked it up.
Mhm.
The Bees go on to beat Forest and 2-1, and that was heartbreaking for Forest.
Yeah.
They score against the run of play because Brentford was all over them in the first half. They get the goal just before halftime from Danilo, but substitutions, and then you could see. I just don't know if they were match fit or what from playing earlier in the week, but uh, you could see people cramping up, people going down and having to get brought off. Tony
Mhm.
scores late. Tony scores in the 80th minute, and this is from a direct run of play. It's all Brentford. It's all Brentford. And they're just trying to absorb as much as they can, just trying to get through. They're like, we got 10 more minutes and stuff like that. And then when the extra time hits, Danilo gets hurt, and they have to he has to come off, essentially putting them a man down, and it was just too much. It's Josh De Silva getting the winner 4 minutes into extra time, and I honestly went, oh, would have loved to have seen Forrest hold steady, and
Yeah.
that loss is going to be that whatever the result, that was the match that happened Monday, they were going to drop back into relegation. just the way things worked. Yeah, it's a shame. But now there's a bunch of people in there. So when we get to that game from Monday, we can talk about how the bottom of that table looks, and it's bananas.
Yep.
Bournemouth wins 4-1 over Leeds.
Yeah, Javi Gracia apparently getting sacked.
Yeah.
Sam Allardyce
Who's
coming in to
who
save
fires? Oh my
Leeds.
God, we'll talk about him in a minute. Who fires two managers in a single year? Bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Allardyce. Well, if he's only on till the end of the year, it's something that he's very comfortable with. Sam Allardyce seems to stick to teams for a year,
Yeah.
or if you're the English national team, less than a year, uh, and also, you know, look up Sam Allardyce. I don't know how much I can say, which is without getting us into trouble, but yeah, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, not a great guy.
No.
If he wants to be there with a sinking ship, I hope Leeds gets relegated now. Like, could not care less for Big Sam. Screw him.
Hmm.
Another a match that was pretty disappointing. Man U beats Villa 1-0.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just wanted more from Villa, especially the way they've been playing lately. Man U, of course, has been playing much better. Taught they should be. I think this will this put them in like. There's a very small chance that they don't play Champions League football now. Seven
I would
points up
think.
on Liverpool with a game to go, like a game in
Yeah.
hand and stuff like that. So it looks like those top four spots should be assured now. Um,
Hmm. I
yeah,
believe this was the first game since Unai Emery took over that Villa hasn't scored in.
he's done a wonderful job. Like,
He has.
we've
He
talked
has.
about it before, but I think, yeah, if he's not one of the front runners for manager of the year, he should certainly be in that echelon. He should be talked about it. Yeah, terrific job. Fernandez getting the winner. Not my favorite thing. He's turns out not one of my favorite footballers in the world.
Mine
But it was a
either.
bad Martinez. You have to do a better job with that rebound, the Rashford shot or whatever, and just pushes it out to nobody. You have to be softer. You have to get that ball into you, or else stuff like that
Yeah.
happens. Um, let's see what else. Newcastle wins again, 3-1. So again, to that top.
Southampton. Not.
Yeah, Southampton
They're
is the
going
other one.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Everybody starts circling players you like to see in Southampton because there should be a fire sale coming up
Yep.
at the end of the year. Newcastle staying ahead of Man United, but have played one more game. Now, yeah, that's all you really have to say. We've had so many matches, like for us to get too involved in everything, just to say Southampton isn't as good as Newcastle and deserve to lose.
Yeah.
Now, the other match that affects you guys and why you guys are now in second place. City beats Fulham 2-1 at Craven's Cottage.
Yeah.
Um, Fulham played better than I expected. I
This was
think,
probably Fulham's best match, I felt like, since they lost Mitrovic to the suspension.
yeah, well, yeah, 100%. And playing like a Giants and stuff like better in a loss than they have in so long.
Yeah.
But that second half, it was just constant flopping. It was constant trying just to get calls, like inviting calls and just dropping at the slightest touch, at the slightest movement, they were falling down and angry and jumping up and down and stuff like that. It's like Fulham, you haven't gotten enough trouble yelling at refs. All right, maybe just cool it. Maybe you guys should have a nice quiet spot to contemplate.
Yeah.
You can do it when you guys are losing again. But I can't say anything. So strange. Like, look at all these West London clubs that are better than Chelsea this year, and it just makes my blood boil. What doesn't? What doesn't make my blood boil? We'll talk
Perhaps
about
the
another
last
match.
match of Sunday.
We'll talk about a match at Anfield. Anfield, of course, hallowed football ground, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Of course, it might be new, but I said it's another humdinger of a match. Where is Tottenham's defense in the first 20 minutes of a match?
I don't know.
Non-existent. It is
Yeah.
non-existent. And Curtis Jones scores. Curtis
Yeah.
Jones. All right. But it was a hell of a pass by Trent Alexander-Arnold that gets him the
Yep.
goal. Luis Diaz scores as well. Now, I guess we can stop. That's when we talk about Luis Diaz. There's a bunch of stuff that happened after the match. Paul Tierney was refereeing. Jurgen Klopp thinks that Paul Tierney has something against Liverpool, that there's a bias. I guess he got yellow carded and stuff like that at the end of the match or whatever. He got yellow carded because he ran out of fourth official after the fourth goal was scored, celebrating and pulled a hamstring or something when he did it or whatever and went down. It's all ridiculous. I will say that Paul Tierney, for some reason, has officiated 21% of Liverpool's matches this year. Like every
That's
fourth match.
insane.
It is insane. But, you know, I don't think it was a matter of incompetent refereeing. I think he was letting a lot of shit go, including this. Now, early in the match, goddamn, trying to think of the guy's name, but Luis Diaz gets stepped on by who? Why can't I think of his name? Skip. Sorry, Skip. Skip goes over top of a ball, misses it, rolls directly, studs into Luis Diaz's leg. Gets a yellow card. All right. It's a red card. It's this for reference. Casemiro, the last Casemiro red card. It's the exact same play. He got off lightly with that. And now we're going to go through because there's some goals to be scored here. Romero has a pretty weak tackle on Gakpo, and it sets up a penalty for Salah, who does not overthink it at all. He just decides to go straight down the middle, high and just under the bar, scores. He doesn't push it wide like he did a couple weeks ago. But then, Sun Heung-min scores. Somehow he stays on side. I couldn't friggin' believe that. Harry Kane before that. And a real nice place from Perisic and a good shot from Kane. Kane, unmarked in the box. Harry Kane, the guy that scores every single goal, it seems, for Tottenham Hotspur.
I was astounded he was so alone in the box.
Yeah. And then the aforementioned, we haven't even mentioned him yet, but Diogo Jota, well, I guess we mentioned him earlier from this match earlier in the week, goes to play a ball, and Skip brings his head down to play it. He misses the ball. Diogo Jota goes to kick the ball. He also misses it.
Oh, man.
And
kicks him in the head.
Kicks Oliver Skip in the head. Yeah. And a couple of marks. He's bloodied. And there's absolutely no call.
No call.
There's no call. There's no yellow card. There's no red card. And VAR does nothing about it. Even though you have to, like, their job is to say if there's been an obvious error, do something about it. They decided they didn't have to. Now, this does remind me of when Azpilicueta got knocked out inside the box when the guy tried the overhead kick, knocked him clean out. I remember Graham Potter standing there on the touchline with his hands in his pockets like an idiot. Now, okay. So, no card on Jota for that. Now, we go into the last minute of regulation, just into extra time. And Sun Heung-min has a free kick. It seemed from quite a ways out. It didn't look too threatening. Just put it in a perfect spot. And Richard Olsen gets ahead to it. Barely. Like, does it like
Yeah.
one of those weird blonde bleached hairs may have grazed it? But it goes in. It goes in.
The
And
60 million pound man finally scored a Premier League goal.
he's done it.
That counted.
Guys, he's done it. And the shirt's off for the yellow card, of course. And
Oh,
he's up
God.
and he's trolling and stuff like that. And
At this point, I could not believe Liverpool had blown that 3-0 lead.
couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. A little upset. I was a little upset. I'm not a Liverpool fan.
Me too. Me too.
I was a little upset with them. It's like, you guys had one job, and that's to protect a 3-0 freaking lead. Like, how? Yeah, whatever.
It's terrible.
So I was pretty dejected. For about 90 seconds. Because the ball goes back down into Tottenham's end, and for some reason, Lucas Moura decides to back pass it to no one, and nobody's talking. He just pushes it back, not to the keeper, and he doesn't go back to the keeper. He just decides just to put it back, and Johnny on the spot, or Diogo on the spot, Diogo Jota, scoring to blow the friggin' roof off Anfield.
I was in voice chat in our Discord, which you can hang out in while we're doing stuff at patreon.com/LGR_network.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Any of the tiers get you into the Discord.
That's right.
I started laughing maniacally when that goal went in.
I love it.
Randy asked if I was okay. I was like, I'm wonderful right now.
Yeah, terrific. So what I did today is before I was waiting to see the Leicester Everton match, and all I was doing was like just have people talk. Like, the news was coming out about Klopp and stuff. I didn't hear anything about it. Yeah, yesterday, this morning I started hearing the news about Klopp and what's happening and stuff like that. So I'm paying attention, but then the more I look at things that say Liverpool v Tottenham, the more I see these things called Tottenham fan reactions. Now, if you go to Liverpool, or if you go to YouTube and you look up Tottenham fan reactions, you will see, and they have something sort of like this, sort of like what we do for Playoff Beards, where they have watch-alongs and stuff like that on their channel. They'll have a bunch of people together talk about it. You can watch our watch-alongs with Playoff Beards and the Stanley Cup playoffs right here, LGRN, the highlights. You could see just the highs. You can see the absolute highs of that Richarlison goal, and then you can see it absolutely get stripped away. You can also see the people who aren't huge fans of the Tottenham Hotspur, and you could see how they're like, how did they blow this? And then get to laugh at all these people that just were jumping up and down and stuff like that. It is pornography for me. It was fantastic. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. Like, before I go to bed, I'm going to watch it again, just because it makes me feel good. It watched me feel good to see their dirty hearts broken. Does that make me a bad person? Yes, it does.
No.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
No,
good.
it does not.
Right. Does that make them bad people? Yes. They're horrible people. Tottenham Hotspurs. Come on, guys. Yes. The last match. The match from today was a great match. It was great. And it was bottom of the table. We got Leicester, we got Everton, we got them fighting to get out of relegation. And yeah, it was for a 2-2 draw. Both goalies were excellent. Good old buddy Jordan Pickford stopping a penalty that could have made a 3-1 before halftime. Now, I don't know if you saw any of this. If you haven't, you may, over the next little bit, see a hashtag called Jordan Pickford's water bottle.
Okay.
What Jordan Pickford has on his water bottle is a lot like what catchers and stuff like that would have on those things or whatever, like the little pitch count when see where people like to hit. On his water bottle, it's just like it says, hey, let's take James Maddison, who took the aforementioned penalty that could have put them up 3-1. they show brown, brown, green. It goes 20% right, green in the middle. So it means 60% of the time he's going to shoot right in the middle. So he just
Yeah.
has his water ball, takes a look at that's where it's going to go, and went right to him. He hardly had to move to stop the goal. It's
That's
like,
smart.
yeah. Well, now that the thing really is there, like he knows that everybody has to change their tactics. Everybody has to change their
Yeah.
tactics. But then yeah, then that's all the psychology. Like that's what makes penalty kicks so fun. Not a way to end. It's not the way to end for a title or anything like that. It's a terrible, horrible way. But like
Yeah.
in in the match, it makes it so fun because it's so much psychology between kicker and by keeper. That's why I have styles that I like of people going up. Like I love Ivan Tony's penalty kicks, just that one step and in and stuff like that. I don't like the Jorginho's little chugga 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 chug. Of course, he's playing for the wrong goddamn team now. But yeah, it's great. Now, I was writing the notes, and uh, Leicester's first goal, and I promised myself I would try to say the man's name, but it is bananas. It is
Okay.
hard. I believe it's Kegler Soyuncu, but
Okay.
they have all the Cyrillic things on there, like every single one. It looks like it's in like an alien language or something. It's incredible. Anyways, good job by him. Jamie Vardy had a frigging terrific like 75 minutes. He was awesome. That he scores the second goal. Um, it's Tielemans kind of it was a bad play by the defender. He tries to go up the middle for some reason. Tielemans gets in the way, goes to James Madison. Madison finds Vardy coming and just puts it in the perfect spot. He's able to round Pickford and in. Jamie Vardy, 36 years old, looked as good as he did 10 years ago on that. The problem is they kept him out. And you could see by the time the 75-minute mark hits, the 80-minute mark hits, that all these players are just starting to drop and stuff like that. Like again, terrific match, super fun, lots of chances, great saves by both keepers, a terrific way to end the week. But you guys just make some substitutions. Like I don't understand. Like yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Dean, what? Yeah, come on, do something different.
Yeah.
Now that's the end of the week. Finally, it took almost an hour to get through all of that. It's bananas. Do you want to know who won? Do you want to know who won our predictions for the week?
Yes.
There was a lot. Now I'm going to say this. Uh, None of us had any draws come through. Like
Okay.
we whiffed on every single one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of us picked a lot of draws. So your winner by a convincing knockout, Adelia, a 7-4 win over me. Just those draws really hurt. Otherwise, I think we had a pretty good week. Now,
Yeah.
this week starts. Now, let's preface this where there won't be a show come next week. I'll be
Yep.
in Vegas winning dart championships. Hopefully. We'll see. I won't be. But I'll be in Vegas. But the week starts with Arsenal v Chelsea.
Yeah.
We have two matches against each other a year. And of course it happens.
This match will be out. This match will be over by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah. Yay, Chelsea, we won. We scored goals. Well, I'm probably going to have the same face on this. Whatever. I'm assuming you believe that Arsenal should have no problems taking care of a shitty Chelsea squad.
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah. God damn. It's hard. God damn, it's hard for me to write something else. Do I just go draw? Do we get a point? You guys have been handing draws out left and right. I'm going to go draw. That way, I'll be able to sleep tonight without crying.
Okay.
But who knows? Liverpool and Fulham at Anfield.
I got to go Liverpool.
Yeah. Especially after we just mentioned that Fulham looks like a shadow of themselves, but
Mhm.
also Liverpool gave up 3 goals in the second half to.
Yeah. But I don't
which
know
I'm
who's
sure
scoring for Fulham without Mitrovic there. I
that's a
mean,
problem. Vinicius. Yeah, you'd like to see guys like Wigan and stuff like that take care of the ball more, but nope, they're not. They're just out there.
Fulham is also without Tim Ream now because he broke his arm.
It's a shame. It's
Yeah.
a real crippling
Well,
blow.
I think he's been pretty good in the defense for Fulham this year.
Yeah.
So
I will not ever praise a Fulham player except for Wigan. Man City gets almost a free spot on the board, but who knows? West Ham United at the Etihad.
I'm still gonna go City. I just don't trust any team coached by David Moyes.
Nope, you're right. That's why I had no problem writing C down there. And then Thursday's match, Brighton and Man U, and which could be maybe a match of the week quality, but we've said that before.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Brighton at home.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Man U just because of their recent run of play. Saturday, May 6th, Bournemouth versus Chelsea in a battle for what could be 13th frigging spot. Oh my God, how dare I?
I'm gonna go draw.
Yeah, I'm gonna say win because if I don't see my previous comment, God damn, they got to win sometime, right? God damn, they got to score a goal.
Yeah.
There's all this talent. Of course, he's gonna end up putting out the fucking most trash starting 11 you'll ever see. Like, oh my, yeah, I don't know. Why not start Mudryk? Like, okay, whatever. So City get another tough test in Leeds, and again, it's at the Etihad.
City.
Yep. We should be saying by how much, but this time, oh, this could be a pretty interesting match. We'll see if North London turns on its own when Spurs take on Palace. A match at the beginning of the year you wouldn't think too highly of, but it could be pretty fun.
No. I think Spurs probably wins that.
I'm going to say Palace because it's more fun too. Plus, I don't like ever saying the other team wins.
I don't either, but
will Wolves wake up against Villa? Will Villa get back on track?
I think Villa gets back on track.
They're at a spot. They need a win so bad. If it's the same, yeah. If it's that same Wolves squad, yeah, I'm gonna say Villa. I tried to talk myself into a draw as much as I could, but yeah, they were frigging awful. Another great matchup, and some other at home again. Liverpool taking on Brentford. A lot of home games in a row.
Yeah, Liverpool.
I'm going to take Brentford.
Okay.
We'll see if the Bees can win at Anfield. Oh, geez, another. God damn, this maybe the game of the week? It probably is. Newcastle against some other squad.
I will take Arsenal.
Mm-hmm. Man, oh man, that one. Gosh, I can't say Arsenal draw twice in a week. I'm gonna say Arsenal as well. But that was close. That was a tough decision. I'm gonna put a little star by that. It's like, oh well. West Ham and Manchester United.
Man United.
Yeah, I don't think there should be too much difficulty in that. Oh, now can the rematch live up to the original match from today? Everton and Leicester again. This time on the Merseyside.
Where do you... No, it's Fulham and Leicester on Monday.
Oh, I have 8.
Brighton and Everton.
Brighton and Everton. Sorry, yes, Brighton and Everton.
So which match are we picking?
We'll go Brighton and Everton.
Okay, Brighton.
Oh. Yeah. If Everton loses, well,
They're in real trouble.
yeah.
But I just don't trust them.
No. Forest, Southampton.
Forest.
Southampton does such weird things.
Mm-hmm. They do weird
This
things,
is
but
tough. Yeah, but they win at home.
yeah.
Southampton. All right. Yeah, I have to take Forest. God, that's gonna make this last few weeks is gonna be so interesting at the bottom. Okay,
Yeah.
and the aforementioned Fulham and Leicester at the Cottage.
Fulham.
You're taking Fulham.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Leicester to make it more interesting. Also,
Okay.
the fact that I seem to always lose at the when we're doing these things lately, so we'll see. You got to pay to play. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah.
We're through. Plus size issue of starting 11.
Yeah.
Jam
Thank
packed.
you everyone for joining us.
Mhm.
Snark, where can we find you?
You can find me here. You can find me on our other show we do, Playoff Beards, Stanley Cup playoffs. Moving into the second round now. Watch for our predictions and a roundup of round 1 coming soon to LGRN the highlights. You can follow me at Snark Yeti. We've mentioned it before. I am a fantastic follow, and I always do lots of stuff.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me on Twitter at Adelia Chambo. I have been posting on there more lately, and I don't know why, but I have been.
Show up.
Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/LGR_network. Join us on the show. We'd love to have somebody come on the show and talk with us about the English Premier League. Or
especially a Tottenham fan.
I don't know about that.
Okay, sure.
And we will no show next week, as Snark mentioned, but we will be back in 2 weeks to talk about a whole bunch of matches. And we will see you all